It's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and we're back on part 2 of this windmill. And I spray painted it, and I obviously missed some spots, but that's okay. We'll catch them in this next part. So the first thing I want to do is do my base coat on my ground. So to do that, I'm going to get a little bit of this deep brown paint from the Dollar Tree, which is kind of like my generic paint I use for all this desert kind of Old West stuff. So I'm going to get some water and that on my brush. And I'm going to base coat this terrain. And I'm not going to get it in every single crack. I'm not overly worried about how good of a job I do. It's not about perfection. It's about getting some decent looking on the table to help tell a story. To help your party adventure and tell their own stories is really important. Now, I didn't make sure this was dried down all the way before I started. So some of the sand might pop loose as I'm working, and that's okay. As long as, the majority of it looks the way you want it to, you'll be all right. I still did not go out and get a new beige color. Oh. There's a little bit of beige. I'm just going to wipe that off my brush. And I'm going to get some of that beige. I'm going to break that up. Okay. Then I'm going to get a little bit of khaki, which is my lightest color here. I get khaki and beige. Holy crap. And I don't really need too much khaki right here. But a little bit. And I'm going to come in there, kind of break that up even more and give it a little more variation. And I don't care if I get a little bit on my building. It'll be all right. There's where I knocked that sand loose. Right there. Look at that. See that? It'll be all right. All right. So you don't want a bunch of sand on your brush for this next part. I'm going to dip mine in the water a little bit, get some of the sand off it. And then what I want to do is I want to get my khaki, or whatever color you want to use. Actually, I know what I'll do. I have this nice chestnut color. Let's use this. And it doesn't matter what we mix it with. We'll use chestnut for this. Pardon me, I'm sneezing and snorting everywhere. So let's get a rough coat of that on here. And I'm not going for perfection as per the usual. Just had a discussion with one of the people that work with me, who lives near me, about bakeries. Near my home is one of the greatest bakeries I've ever been to. It's called Vanessa's Sweet Temptation. And though I believe she's from the area originally, she had been in Vegas as a pastry chef, and then she married her high school sweetheart or something and moved back here to be with him and started a pastry shop right on my street. And my last house was on the street too, so we were her first customers, and my 9-year-old was actually in her commercial, and we just have a good relationship with them. And there's been some issues over the years. People have started some shit with her, and she's always been actually very kind about it and been patient with people and not started fights about it. But people have started some shit with her. And I'll tell you what, it irks the shit out of me because she is such a kind-hearted person. She is just a sweetheart. I can't tell you how many times that she's just refused to take our money when we come up there, and finally I had to say, we're not going to come back here if you don't let us pay, because, there are people who could use the free food, and it's more than us. We don't need the free food. But anyways, she is an absolute angel. It's called Vanessa's Sweet Temptations. I don't think they do online sales because she only opens on Fridays and Saturdays, I believe. Yeah, her shit is good. And now they kind of on the weekends do some sandwich stuff too, because like people up here that live on the hill that don't want to drive anywhere, that want to eat, have like begged her to provide like lunch stuff. So she has like sausage sandwiches and like gourmet grilled cheeses and stuff. And it's like, for the price, you're like, how can she afford to sell this stuff at this price? But I also think that she kind of made her money in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, and lives off of a lot of that. And her husband does very well too, I believe. So I think that she's kind of like, does this more for fun than money, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that. I haven't asked her that, but I get the impression that's the case because she donates a lot of money and she does a lot of like really nice stuff for people. I've seen like families that live in like an area where they don't, you kind of tell by where they live, they don't have a lot of money. I've seen her do cakes for them and stuff. when she heard that they were in need. But she's just a phenomenal philanthropist slash human being who I love tremendously. And she is just absolutely a total gem. You just don't meet people like her all the time. We love her. And, you know, anytime someone gets on her or gives her a hard time, I instinctively want to go and fight them because I know what she is. But I also know a lot of these people that are fighting her don't know who she is or what she is. Maybe somebody said something or there was an incident and they just don't understand the outcome or the what happened and they get worked up. And that happens, and we all do that. But yeah, you piss with her, I'd want to fight you. But we were just talking about how good her pastry shop was versus another one. And the other one's good too. But they also used corn syrup for seasoning and flavor and stuff to save money, I believe. I've been told that multiple times. And if you've eaten their food, you could tell, yeah, they probably do use corn syrup. And I don't like corn syrup, so I'm a type 2 diabetic, and even though I don't take insulin or anything anymore, through my diet, got rid of my need for it. But I strongly believe that corn syrup is a large contributing factor to diabetes in this country, and nobody cares what I think. But I've been saying it for years. You don't take guys that are perfectly fit in the Army who work out every day and then they start drinking soda because they're not, running every day anymore and stuff. Because in the Army, like, drinking soda would have been a mistake, dude. I'm not going to drink a bunch of cans of Mountain Dew and go running the next morning. I'm freaking die. But I think what happens is, we come out of the military and we start drinking soda and stuff that's corn syrup. And that's why you see so many soldiers who somehow blow up after being, physically fit and gorgeous bodies for years. Then we just kind of turn into slobs. And we don't work out as much, which is obviously a contributing factor. But the other thing is our diets change. Because when you're at home and you're around other people and you're eating out a lot more, you're a civilian and you have a little bit more money maybe, because the Army's not known for paying particularly well, your diet changes. And if you ate in the chow hall like those dudes, you didn't have corn syrup in your diet. Those dudes, like those cooks are like serious, man. They're out there making shit, making shit yummy. People talk shit on Army food. I knew several of the cooks personally. They were buddies of mine. They weren't like people I went to their house and chilled with and stuff, but like, when we were deployed together, I'd always go and check on them and make sure they didn't need anything. A lot of friends was in the cooks. And I'll be honest with you, man, these people care. They don't want to just be like known as a cook. These people want to be chefs. They want to be providing meals that are worth eating, and they want to be, they don't want to just be garbage. They want to be good. They're good dudes. Most of them. I can't speak for all of them. But the ones I knew over the years were all really good. But diet's a big problem. And I'm not sure what the cloths are. I think there's cloths on these fans. I just used granny grating. But if I'm not mistaken, cloth is a component of these. I don't have any on mine, but you could put some on there. I didn't think about it until just now. Again, I didn't even look at a picture of a windmill before I did this. So we're looking pretty good here. We got a good base coat of color down. We're going to need to do some dry brushing. All right, so to lighten this thing up, let's grab another piece of card. Oh, I got water all over my hand. Let's grab a piece of cardboard. I just have a piece of cardstock here from more of this coffee box I've been tearing apart. We'll get that. Throw away the excess pieces that I ripped off. Let's get a lighter color. And I think that lighter color is going to be... Let's see if we can't mix some territorial beige and some khaki. And get something going. And to add that little bit of an orangish tone, I'm going to put the tiniest bit of this deep brown that has an obvious, red tone to it. That's more than I wanted, but we'll make it work. So now I'm getting a big makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. This is a +0 makeup brush of brushing. Look at that color. It's a little pinkish, a little orangish, and I think it'll do what we need it to pretty nicely. Now what I want to do is I'm kind of going at an angle here just to catch some detail. I'm not trying to go overboard with it. And I'm just doing this at a bit of an angle. And if I pick up a little bit of the other colors that are still not dry on here, I'm not going to panic or sweat that. I'm just going to let it happen. And it's already given us a nice look. It's a little beat up and not well cared for, but it's not ideal. So I want to lighten this up a little bit more. I'm going to get a light gray color. And that light gray color, it looks like it's going to be called cottage gray. Or country gray, sorry. And I'm just going to do the same shit. I'm going to get a little bit on there. And I'm going to dab it in. And lighten this up some more. Whoa, that's crazy. And it's starting to look kind of weathered and beaten the way I wanted it to. I'm going to get a little bit more of that gray on there. I'm going to drag it out on these. The back doesn't really need any attention. Now I'm going to get another brush and do just gray. And I'm going to use a smaller brush for this, probably. Something kind of like this. This is a much smaller brush. And I'm going to get predominantly gray on here. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. It's got a little bit of that brown in it. And then I'm just going to kind of come around and lighten some of it up. Hit some of the corners a little bit. Some of the edges and stuff. All right, we need some metallic things. We need some metallic on there. That's just what we need. I don't really want to do a lot of metallic stuff on there, but it's just kind of got to happen. So I'm going to get in here and try to make sure there's nothing wet left on this door. And I'm just going to rub that paint around to get rid of it. Let's get a metallic color. I'm going to get that metallic brown that I use a lot from Walmart. And I'm going to use that because I think it's going to be perfect for what we want here. And I'm just going to use a size 3 brush. It's pretty big. I'm going to dip my shit in water there and get some of this metallic brown. I'm going to paint the straps on the door with that. I don't think that's super noticeable, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not super noticeable. All right, no problem. I'm just going to get this gunmetal gray or brushed dark gray or whatever it is. And I'm going to come back in and use that. Get a little bit of water on my brush. And that's going to stand out definitely more noticeably than the other. I'm going to do that knob and handle in silver. And then let's get, this is wrong. See how that one's a shorter distance than the other ones? I made a mistake there. I just noticed it. I don't know how I pulled that off, but I did. I'm just going to hit this up with some metal. Look, that button was made by Lee. It says Lee on it. I didn't set out to use a leave button, but I got one. And I'm just going to hit these with it and assume that they're a little metallic. I gotta get a lot more paint on my brush here. There we go. A little bit of water, a little bit of paint goes a long way. Okay. Now let's come up here and use that wet. Paint this. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to slap you there. Don't you worry your ugly little head, you'll be okay. And I'm going to get a little bit more of that silver and drag that around, catching that piece there. All right. I think we did it. I think that'll work. Definitely captures the essence of what I wanted to catch. Though I would say, I would like the blades to stand out a little better. I don't know if these are actually called blades, panels, paddles, or what. I'm not quite sure. I just am associating it with a helicopter and calling them blades. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Say, dumbass, you're wrong. So I do want to lighten those up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that gray I had and kind of a crappy brush. I love this brush. I usually say a crappy brush you don't care about, but I'd be lying. I do love this brush. And I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to beat these up a little bit. In reality, modern windmills that are used for generating power are actually a little bit of a menace. So they make them out of materials to where they can't be repaired, and that they make them out of materials that there's nowhere to really recycle them easily. They're going to be heavy to transport. They're large. So once they're out of use, what happens is a lot of times they either bury them or leave them in piles. So if you go out in the Midwest or in the mountains in West Virginia and in places where they have quite a bit of these, you can actually kind of get an idea, if you're like walking around on the ground at the bottom of these, what happens. They're not made to be, the modern energy producing ones are not made to be sustainable or to be repaired and kept in service. And when they are, like I said, they're just changing out blades and stuff and then throwing the shit on the ground or burying them, which the burying one drove me nuts when I heard about that. I'm like, you're just throwing this in the ground? Oh, God, come on. But that's just what they do, man. That's just like the system. Maybe that'll change someday. Wish I knew why that one was shorter. That's just gonna bother the shit out of me. Hold on, let's get a ruler or something. Is there anything that measures around here? All right. So that one is 4 3/4 inches. 5 1/4. Yeah, I don't know what I did there. Oh well, it's done now. Anyways, this thing turns and everything, and it's functional. Besides, the door doesn't work. That's just for looks. And I have some cool ideas how I'm going to run a bad guy here. So this is actually going to be the entrance to a mine, a secret entrance to a mine, and it's going to be there's going to be revenants or undead gunslingers and stuff guarding this, and then they're going to find out it's the entrance to a mine where a big bad sleeps in the day. And even rests when he's recovering strength from fights that he may have lost against the party, or she may have lost against the party previously. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and leave a comment. These are the things that please the great spirits of the algorithm. God, that's going to irk me forever. Anyways, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, also check out www.dungeon-swag.com. There will be a link in the description at some point, and buy some miniatures off us. That would be super good. And even though it doesn't directly relate to the channel, it does support me in making me know that you guys like what I'm doing and that you're interested. So, we want to grow that business too because we think it's a lot of fun, and we want people to be able to get beautiful miniatures for a reasonable price. That's really important to us. So when you buy them, it shows us that we're doing something good. Come to our Discord and hang out. It's the Dungeon Swag Discord, and I'm on there pretty much every day checking it out. And if you're interested in playing video games or maybe playing an RPG online with us, or showing us what you've been making or seeing what we've been working on, we got a little community there. It's super great people, and they're making weapons in real life. They're making shields. They're making needle felting, which I never even knew about, crocheting, and all this beautiful art. Not just miniatures and stuff, like real beautiful art stuff too. So come check it out. It's awesome. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.